Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Friday, the 23rd of September, comes to you from London. And the screen is blood red this morning, and no big surprises here. Markets falling away at the end of the week off the back of interest rate rises, both by the Federal Reserve and the UK Bank of England. So we are seeing the effects of that. The dollar surging. This is the weekly candle here. Remembering this is my weekly, my daily, and my 60-minute chart with the corresponding point and figure targets. And this is the long-term, medium-term, and short-term view of the market. That dollar making new highs. No end in sight of this topping out. It's still just surging. So really seeing that clearly, and remembering above the cloud on all three time frames means we're bullish. Looking at the euro, of course, that's the reverse. 97 was the target. We've given that target back in February, and this is where we've got to. So really interesting to see that there. The yen, seeing that really big spike there, looking like intervention from the Bank of Japan yesterday. So just really just coming off there, but the reality is this trend is virtually unstoppable. It's all about dollar strength. Looking at sterling, that's falling away further. 111.67 this morning, new lows there. These are levels we haven't seen since the 1980s, of course. And looking at sterling against the euro, sitting at 114.36, so steadying a little bit there. But the big story in currencies is, of course, the dollar. You're seeing the Indian rupee breaking lower, dollar strength winning out there. We're seeing it really across the board. We're seeing a lot of crisis developing off the back of this dollar strength. Bitcoin sitting at $19,000, really below $20,000. We're just bearish, and we're really on this weekly cloud, breaking that pattern there with downside targets much lower. The S&P 500 index was down nearly 1% last night. The big story here is that we're falling through the weekly cloud. Of course, if we make a lower low, that's just confirming what we've been saying. Markets looking really bad there for a sell-off, and the Nasdaq also similarly lower, so that's really quite key there. Taking a look at the futures, we're seeing the S&P future off another 0.5%, the Nasdaq off 2/3%, so the market is going to open lower still today. The VIX volatility now in the high 20s. It's been relatively stable, but the fear index is gradually rising, so we have got targets higher. FTSE future down nearly 1% this morning. The DAX in Germany down another 2/3%, just about to break this critical 12,000 level on the DAX. And of course, we are clearly below on the weekly cloud there. Japan was lower. The Hang Seng was down another 1%. This has been in a downtrend for ages. And the Indian market, really quite interesting, just struggling to activate this upside target, looking relatively resilient compared to other markets, but just that 60,000 level is just a step too far for India at the moment. We'll look at the energy mix in a minute. Looking at some of the soft commodities, wheat is down, and gold languishing below the $1,700 mark, and silver sitting at $19.50. So again, looking really weak there. US 10-year yields just pulling back, and we're waiting really for this column to pull back, and that will give us a target on this column. So still in train there. And on the 30-year yield, we've got upside targets here, and again waiting for that column to finish. But 4.5% is the target, and we'll have a new one off there. So really quite key. Looking at the energy mix now, we're seeing Brent crude lower. We were pretty much bearish across the board today. Looking at our reports, we see here with anything that we were neutral on was Nordic Power on the quarterly, but all the other contracts we were bearish, and we're seeing this really as a result of falling sentiment, demand destruction really starting to show through. We're seeing WTI looking lower as well, breaking those key levels, and emissions lower this morning, just falling away as well. So we really are seeing bear markets just developing across the board. That $65 the level to watch. We put that out in our report. Looking at TTF, we're actually up a bit this morning. We were bearish, but we are just seeing some new mini targets kicking in, and MBP seeing a little bit of a recovery as well. German power is down. That 500 level really quite critical on the cow, and we were bearish this morning. Another new target kicking in there. That's it for today. Until Monday, have a great weekend. Happy charting. See you then.